Hello Fish Fools, Jeff here. So as I mentioned in my recent videos, I was moving. So this is the first tank that I moved to my house. I just brought this over tonight, and this is a 5.5 gallon. I drained it down a little beyond halfway and just had this on the passenger side and drove it over my car. And I think it worked out okay. So this tank only has a few guppies. There's 2 male guppies, a female, and a mangled old white cloud and Neocaridina cherry shrimp. So the guppies actually are shimmying, not looking too good. I hope they'll be alright. I need to fill up the water. Might be a little cold. I mean, this tank in my apartment was without a heater, so that's about 70 degrees. I keep my apartment at 72, so drop down a bit, and you can just see that it's sloshed around a bit. The water is kind of cloudy from detritus sloshing around, and like the cholla wood all kind of is piled up in the front here, so I need to straighten that out, fill in some water. But I'm pretty pleased with how this worked out. Bring it over, and I think I'm going to be able to handle most of my tanks okay. I'm going to do the same thing with the 10 gallons. The big challenge will be the 29 gallon and my 30 gallon. So I am moving big stuff like furniture, bed, and sectional sofa tomorrow, and I'm bringing the tanks as well. So my plan is to bring the 29 gallon, drain it down to maybe a couple inches, and hopefully that works out okay. The 30 gallon, that's a tank that leaks anyway, so I think I'm going to move the fish from that to other tanks and just bring it over, drain it down all the way so it'll still have the plants in it and the substrate, but no fish. And I mean, that has shrimp in it. I don't know how I'm going to gather up all the shrimp. I'm just going to have to leave some in there. Yeah, so first tank with fish in it that I brought over. A couple of nights ago, I brought that 10 gallon over as a trial run. That was just an empty 10 gallon that I had. I just filled it with 3 gallons of water just to test it, and that made it okay. So from there, that was the first test without fish. Then this tank with fish, and then tomorrow is going to be the hardest, the 29 gallon and the 30 gallon. Then after that, one by one, I'll bring the 10 gallons. I think I'll be able to handle that okay. But yeah. And then after that, once I get those tanks set up, then I can move on and finally get a big tank. As I mentioned, 30 gallon that's the biggest tank that I've had, and that's because I knew anything bigger would be too difficult to move. And so now that I'll be established here in my house, I'll be able to get some big tanks. So the plan is to get an 84 gallon, 6-foot tank. And I'm gonna also get the plan is to get a 40 gallon breeder that I'm going to basically redo it as I had my 30 gallon and replace it for my 30 gallon. And yeah, and other stuff like that as I go. But yeah, just wanted to give an update on that. This worked out okay, and I'm gonna be moving more tanks as I go. All right. Well, that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.